I'm Melanie.
My name's Zadok. How are you doing?
Good. It's nice to meet you.
You as well.
So what made you interested in this position?
So I'm interested in intensive care in general, but BCU is such a remarkable hospital. Your Gold Beacon units ranked #1 in the nation for most units in one hospital. Your cardiac surgery ICU is just so remarkable. Your CAUTIs, it's something crazy, like you haven't had a CAUTI in the last 440 days, which is just remarkable to have such a cohesive team, an interdisciplinary team to be able to take care of those kind of things. So that's why I'm really interested in just this position and your hospital in general. So.
Thank you for that. Why do you feel you are the best candidate for this position?
So I think I'm the best candidate, mainly because of my work ethic. I'm driven to succeed in whatever I do. So a few examples from my resume that I can point to. Going back furthest would be when I started as a resident assistant. I was a resident assistant for 1 semester. I did such a great job just fostering, community in the building, and I showed my leadership skills. And I was able to be promoted to head resident assistant the following semester when there's a job opening. And they passed over third-year RAs for myself as a 1 semester RA just because they saw the potential in me. And now I'm a third-year head RA, and I've just really been able to succeed in the role. Another example I can point to would be a summer job I had last semester, or over the last year. Just something as simple as working at Home Depot. I worked there for 3 months, and I was employee of the month twice. So that just really goes to show just my ability and my drive to succeed in whatever I do and become a student of it. And then most recently, on my resume, my debate experience. So I started my first tournament at 1-5. We sucked. We were awful. Then we went back to the drawing board. My partner and I. We went through it and to see what could we do to make sure that we were better the next tournament. And just last weekend, we were able to win the national championship. So that really just goes to show that if I'm not succeeding in something, I'm going to go back to the drawing board and really take it down to its core levels and see how I can improve upon it and just do the best I can to succeed in it. So all those reasons, my work ethic and being driven to succeed is why I'm the best candidate for this job.
And say you're noticing that your nurse manager is implementing new things for you to do that you don't feel like is necessary or you don't really agree with, how would you handle that?
Sure. So I know VCU in general, they do a really great job of implementing the most recent evidence-based practice. So if it's something that I'm not familiar with, before I even approach a subject with the nurse manager, I want to do my research on it and see where are they coming, where is this coming from? Because I know VCU has they're a great research facility. They're a level 1 research facility. So my first thought wouldn't be to initially disagree with her. My first thought would be, wow, where is this coming from, and where can this take the unit as a whole? If I saw that it was still questionable, I wouldn't necessarily go to the nurse manager. I might go to the clinical educator first and ask her, what is the rationale behind it? I'm the kind of person where I really have to know why something's happening to really be able to get my head around it and to be able to implement it in my practice, just to make sure that to put patient safety first and the team first.
Wow. So as you were telling me before, and it's been shown in your resume, you do have multiple activities that you do as a student. How do you find to manage your time?
So that's definitely something I've struggled with, but I've also seen the benefits of that time crunch on me. So this semester alone, you see that I'm the head resident assistant. I was part of the debate team. I have my full-time clinical preceptorship and other clinicals going on. So that's a lot of things on a student. Plus I have my normal course load, which is another, I think it's 15 hours a week. So when we kind of put all these things together, my sleep definitely takes almost a back road to that. So it's something where I've recently had to really address head on to make sure that I'm getting caring for myself so I can better care for my patients and better care for my team and my job and everything to begin with. So I really started to go back and see where can I improve and where can I take time away from. So I created a calendar and I really had to go, I started week by week and I really had to go hour by hour every day just to make sure that every day I had something scheduled for myself so I could really decompress and make sure that I was caring for myself. So through this, I really saw a benefit in my clinical preceptorship. So I really got to see the prioritization and time management of my patient's care, and I can directly attribute that to all of the things that I've been doing this year. So.
Sounds really good. Can you tell me what it is that made you interested in nursing in the first place?
Sure. So actually, when I was 6 years old, and this kind of goes back to why I'm interested in the cardiac aspect of your ICU. So when I was 6 years old, my father actually died of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So that really got me on the track of medicine. And so, like any 6-year-old would, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to make sure that never happened to any of my family members again. So that really got me on the medicine track at 6 years old. I had to grow up very quickly, and so that really got me interested in healthcare in general. So when I was 11 years old, my mother actually went into liver cirrhosis and end-stage liver failure. So she was transported to Johns Hopkins and then flown to University of Maryland, where she would stay in a coma for 2 months waiting liver transplant. During that time, I'd probably visit her once or twice a week in between school, and I really saw how much of an effect the nurses had on her health, and how much of an effect they had on me and my brother as a family, and just how they were so caring and how they directly influenced and kept my mother on that in between stage of life and death. And I really saw at that point that nurses are the true backbone of healthcare. And if I really wanted to make a difference in not only my patients' lives, but their families' lives, I would become a nurse. And so that's what really shifted gears for me going towards the route of a nurse.
And could you tell me about your 5-year plan?
Sure. So immediately, my short-term goals, my 1 to 2 year goals, is to be certified on all the devices I could possibly be certified on. So, and certifications in general. So I want to get my ACLS. Well, I already have that, but I want to get my PALS, my NRP. I would love to get, like I said, the devices like the LVADs, the total artificial hearts. Just get all those certifications out of the way and really just become a master and expert within the field I am. And then as soon as I'm eligible to sit for my CCRN certification, I would love to do that. So that's my short-term goals. My 3 to 4 year goals is to really become a part of the unit as a leader. So I'd love to be part of committees. I would love to really take a leadership role, whatever that may take. So I'd love to be a preceptor. I would love to be whatever I can to really just become more of a part of the unit. And then my 5-year goal, 5 to, I guess anywhere in the 5 to 7 year range, I'd love to go back to school and go back and get my master's and really just become a student of nursing. And I want to be a lifelong student. I always want to be learning so I can always do what I can clinically best for my patient at that time.
Okay. And can you tell me about a time where you had a difficult patient?
Sure. So it was on the neuro floor. She was 83 years old. She was hitting the call button every like 2 minutes. And it was just like simple things like she wanted water, she had to go to the bathroom, she wanted crackers, simple things, stupid things. She just wanted, and so I started to get an idea that she just really wanted to have a conversation. So I told my clinical instructor, I was like, look, I'm gonna go in this room for an hour and a half, and I'm just gonna have a conversation with her and just sit and talk to her. So I really, and that's what I did. So I sat down, I just had a conversation with her. I got to know her background, about her family. And it turned out that she was really lonely because her family wasn't there in Florida, so they couldn't come up to see her. So I really was able just to have that interpersonal communication with her, and through that, she really got to express herself. And after that, she never hit the call button again. But it was I can attest it to just her being lonely and wanting to have a conversation with somebody. So.
Well, thank you for coming in to interview with us, and we will give you a call back shortly.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I didn't know what else to say. I didn't know how long